Hello there, welcome to this very important video, perhaps even the most important on my channel, because it's about finding where you are, what you can do, where your weaknesses are, once and for all, getting your major scales down, getting some chords down, progressions down, and identifying your weaker fingers. It doesn't matter what your path is, how good you are, how many songs you can play. This will help you to, once and for all, find out where you are. So let's get going, and I think you're going to find it useful because there is a free PDF which I've created for your benefit, which you can just print off and have a look at. You can just sort of get a general idea of what it looks like. It's just 2 pages. There's a little space for you to fill in the answers. You can print it off as much as you want, share it, all that. It's all free. There's just 2 pages, and the link is in the description box below. And I just wanted to go through it. I wrote an article, so you can see the article as well. But I just wanted to go through it and just show you basically what to do with it and how it can help you. So stop playing repertoire, because if you just keep playing repertoire, you're going to encounter situations and moments where you can't achieve it, you can't play it because you don't have the dexterity or the coordination. So that's why you just sometimes need to step away from repertoire and just, you know, get real about your abilities. And that's why I've called it the Get Real checklist. You can't really see that, but it's called the Get Real, the Water Pianist's Get Real checklist. So I'm going to go through this, and it needn't be a long video, but it's going to be the most important. So if you're overwhelmed by all the videos on my channel and just on YouTube generally, this will help. So as always, likes, comments, subscriptions welcome. Have a look at my water pianism syllabus. This is a mini version of the syllabus, and my video management website, which can also help you to go through my videos in a way that YouTube can't. So first thing is major scales. Away from the piano and at the piano. Not at the piano playing them really fast, but just even with a pencil or even just with one finger, can you play the notes of that scale? Can you play F? Can you play A flat? Without hesitating. Just get real and identify which ones you know. So there's 2 columns. One of them is your mastery level now, and I've got, just put a little number like 1 to 10. 1 is useless, you don't know it at all. 10 is, you know it really well. And the second column is, like, have you achieved mastery of that scale if it happens to be less than 10? So you need to do this away from the piano and at the piano, which is not the same thing, because if you don't know it in your mind, you can't do it at the piano. The piano doesn't want to teach you anything. It can't teach you anything. It's down to you to dominate the piano. From your mind, going through a strong body, piano is last, or whatever the instrument is. So away from the piano, visualize your major scales. I have a special playlist for that, maybe a card if I remember, in the description box anyway. That will help you to master the major scales. So in your mind and at the piano. The next thing was, oh, and by the way, in those videos, there's different ways that you can play the major scales. It's not just doing fingering like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, all that nonsense. You need to play the major scales with a variety of fingering. What's the word? Options, I suppose, variations. Maybe play them with just the middle 3 fingers. Just mix them up. Maybe play with 2 hands even, and just kind of, let me just do like the key of A, and just like poke the notes like this, the key of B. I'll play it with octaves. Just play them in different ways. So that's that. The other side is finger strength. This is quite important. 10 fingers, of course, you want them to be as relatively good as each other. So you can simply play the chromatic scale over 2 octaves and just see which fingers become weaker sooner and make a little note of it. So again, get real. Where are your weaker fingers? Which ones need work? Which ones should you be, because I've got tons of technical exercise videos, maybe you should be doing those with only your weaker fingers for a while. I mean, don't worry, your stronger fingers won't suddenly dry up, as I say in the article. So for example, let's just take the little finger on the left hand and just pick a natural speed limit, just 2 octaves. See how fast you can do it, maybe with the metronome if you want to. Maybe make a little note of how many notes, like how many 2 notes per second you can do at what beats per minute. And just see maybe also in terms of time, how long you can do this for. And just write it down so that you have a baseline from which to improve. Again, then you'll do it with the ring finger. And this is, oh, also do it with your eyes closed as much as possible. and if you want to, you can do them together, but this is not so much about brain exercises. This is just purely get real with what you can do and what you know, aside from all the fancy ideas and personalization and brain-breaking exercises I have. Now, the most important technical exercise that you can do is finger alternations chromatically, because that is how you literally play the piano, no matter what repertoire you're doing. Jazz, Rachmaninoff, Liszt, Beethoven, Debussy, it doesn't matter, anything, even your own compositions. Anything you play on the piano involves, obviously, your fingers. I mean, just hear me out. I'm not saying obvious things. I'm just highlighting a point. Anything that you play will involve only, so why not master them, natural intervals between, natural stretches between fingers. So why not just master all of those stretches and get used to feeling them all? Just familiarize your fingers, let them experience exactly what they're going to experience when you're playing real pieces. So what you want to do is find a symmetrical pair of notes. For example, E flat and D flat. Why is that symmetrical? Because you can do the same alternation without getting confused. Because again, it's not a brain-breaking exercise. You're not doing very, different notes, black and white, left hand, right hand. This is just a simple get the feeling in your fingers. You can do it from E. You could do it from B and F, going over the 3 and then the 2, for example. So just find a symmetrical pair. So I'll demonstrate with maybe E flat and D flat. And I've got them all written down on that sheet, all the finger combinations possible, at what tempo. So I can't put the metronome on, otherwise it will ruin my connection to the computer, but whatever the tempo happens to be, you start with your thumbs first, you take every finger combination separately, and you just get used to doing it, 5 minutes per finger or something, eyes closed as well. You might start really slowly. The point is precision. At what speed, and go to your natural stretch. I've talked about this before, I'm just putting everything in this one video. Do it staccato, eyes closed, and just find your natural limit. It's such an important word. Because this is exactly, when you're playing pieces, it may only be quickly, just something like this, or something like this in the left hand, but your fingers will be naturally used to playing that interval, for example, with any finger combination. So, why not master them all? Why not just get them over and done with? So then, once you've found your natural limit, as you do this every few days, every day, every week, you'll notice that your beats per minute, your natural limit will increase quicker than you expect. I promise. Eventually, you'll just feel really, really comfortable doing them quite quickly like this, without really thinking about it. So you'll do that with that was my thumb and index, and then you'll go to thumb and middle finger. So some of them, like the ring finger, you're not going to do it on the E and the D because they're too close, it's silly. So you might start them maybe even a fourth out. Now be realistic, because that's what they'll, maybe up to the D, because that's what they'll really experience in the piano world. So you're just getting them, you're just not wasting your time doing irrelevant things. So once you've done thumb with each other finger alternated, so little finger, you might want to start maybe a fifth away, probably go out to an octave, maybe an extra note. Eyes closed, nice and symmetrical, nothing complicated, and just get used to doing that. Eyes closed, and just do it for like 2 or 3 minutes. Oh, the benefits are just so unbelievable. I can't even put them into words. I used to do this when I was younger. You get to a point where you don't need to, I've said it, I think I said it in the article, or I've said it recently. It's a lot easier to, I did say it in the article, it's a lot easier to maintain a high level than to reach it. The reaching it is a bit of the work, which is what we're doing here, but it's only a few months, maximum, maybe weeks. But once you've got there, your fingers will kind of be used to it. So when you do any new technical exercise or take on any new repertoire, your fingers are kind of like 80+% ready for action. And it's not just a constant struggle with every new piece from 0 or from 5% or something, because you haven't done this. So once you've done it with your thumb, you'll then go to your index finger. Let's go to the E and C symmetrical pair this time. And then you'll do it with all the combinations going outwards, so index with middle. Natural limit, so I can only get sort of comfortably to an A, and that's probably maximum what you'll ever play in a real piece. You don't need to do all these silly stretches or leaps or anything. Just go to your natural limit. Just get used to it. Moving it around a bit. Maybe some repeating over a couple of similar notes. Just mess around and do things like that. You want to do it 1,000 times, honestly, overall, 10,000 times. Then you'll do your index with the ring finger, so maybe that might naturally start from maybe a minor away. That kind of goes out to maybe a B naturally. You see, it's just so comfortable and so effortless. I'm not even thinking about it. And that's how I want you to be. Then you'll do it with the ring, with the little fingers, etc. Then you'll move to the middle finger. Let's do another one, which might be from G, from maybe the what's it called, A and G with the ring finger and little finger. So those two will be quite close together. You can do those a semitone apart because that's possible in music. So how far does that go? That only goes to like a fourth. And then of course with the little finger, maybe starting a third away. How far does that go? That doesn't really go too far, but it's still possible that you'll see that in some piece of music, that interval. So once you've done all those, that's all you'll ever need when you're playing the piano. Whether you're doing like octaves like this, you think, well, I know that interval because I've done it already. I know that interval because I've done it already. It doesn't matter if you're playing, like I say, these open arpeggios or whatever you might be playing, because you've done it all. You've done, the octaves are in there. Every interval possible with every finger has been mastered. So please spend months doing this as much as you can. The next thing is chord types, but that's only possible when you know your major scales. I've given you a list of common chords. There's a couple of chords that aren't in there, like sus2. Somebody mentioned 11 isn't in there. But I've given you a 9 and a 13 voicing if you want to. The chords I've given you are major and minor triads. But I wanted to say something extra about this, about the inversions. So you've got major, minor triads. And then you've got what I haven't written it here, but I'm telling you now, they're called the 4 primary chord types. Generally, you don't just play triads. You normally play 4 notes. So there's only a certain amount of notes you can play where the 3 and the 7 are altered, and there's 4. So you've got 1, 3, 5, 7, it's major 7. You've got the dominant 7, and then you've got those two with a minor. So minor 7, minor major 7. So they're the 4 primary chord types, I call it. So you want to get used to seeing those, not just playing them, but seeing them on your internal piano as well. Afterwards, I've given you an augmented triad, 1, 3, sharp 5, but you're going to remember these by template. The middle column here is template, and then it just says all keys. Like, have you played around in all keys? Do you feel it's not about memorization. I'm not asking you to memorize them all. It's just, if I say like, I don't know, B minor triad, like, can I see that away from the piano first of all? Okay, of course, yes I can. I'm in the key of B. Here's the minor, here's the 5. I know the template is 1, flat third, 5. Okay, but now in terms of the interval, can I poke? I like this verb poking. Can I just see the B and the D and the F sharp everywhere? Meaning the interval doesn't exist. People worry that how can I say this? Often it is put forward that the root position is somehow more important than first inversion or the second inversion. And then you have this idea that you need to memorize this and this and this, but you don't. All you need to remember and memorize is the template. And you can just memorize the template in the key of C for all of the chords. But once you've memorized the template, you then just apply that to any key that you're in. And it doesn't matter what the inversion is because you know the major scale so well. So you can find those 3 or 4 notes of the template, the one thing to remember, combined with the major scale mastery, and then you just put them together. And then the idea of inversions just fades away. So like I say, B minor, I mean, you can just see it everywhere. It just doesn't, it's play any notes. Play G major 7. That's almost the same notes as B minor, actually, isn't it? But whatever, I'd say, give you a different one then. I'm trying to think of a slightly more complicated one. Like D half diminished. D minor 7, flat 5. I'm in the key of D, like the whole piano becomes the key of D. I can see it everywhere. And then I'm going to play maybe D half diminished, but I can see the notes everywhere. It doesn't matter what inversion. It just doesn't matter what the inversion is because I can see the note values, 1 minor, flat 5, dominant 7. So that's the point you need to get to, and this is going to encourage you to do that. So those are the chords, the major minor triad, the 4 primary chord types, the augmented, the sus4, because that's quite popular in jazz if you're interested in pop music, not so much jazz, but in pop you just play 1, 4, 5. The half diminished and the whole diminished, I've given you the templates so you can play around with them. Half diminished, whole diminished. Try and also develop an emotional connection with them. Half diminished feels unstable because of that dominant 7 on top. It wants to resolve to the 6th and become more stable. Anyway, and then you've got your 6th, 1, 3, 5, 6, minor 6, 1, flat 5, sorry, 1 minor, 5, 6. Then I've given you just 2 jazz chords because they're the most common ones, the 13 and the 9 if you're interested. 13th voicing is dominant 7 in the key of C here. So dominant 7, 3rd and 6th, the 6 is the 13. And then the 9th voicing is 3, dominant 7, 9. These are the common 2 jazz voicings, 13 and 9. Key of F, 13, 9. This doesn't matter what the key is. So play around with that, and on your internal piano and at the piano. And again, it's not about playing them super fast. It's not about memorizing. Just get used to seeing them. That's it. And really, really learn them, because when you're getting into jazz and all these other things, seeing the chords, becoming familiar with them, developing the ability to find them quickly, is just astronomically important. And of course, being a Walter pianist and appreciating all these philosophies will put you light years ahead of other people that are doing it all the slow, old, traditional blur way. So the last thing is the chord progressions. I've just given you 3 common chord progressions. Of course, you can go online and look for more because there are some others, of course. But 90+% of the time, you'll do well to know 1, 4, 5 in different keys, and you can play different chord types with them. You can mix and match, but even if you just play the major triads or the minor triads first, key of C, 1, 4, 5, bluesy thing, 4, 5, 1, 1, 4, 5, 1, very easy. All notes from the major scale with a major triad, nothing hard. Easy, do it with dominant 7ths if you want. Do it how you want. And the next chord progression I think I put was the pop one, which is normally 1, 5, 6, 4, or some order thereof. Could be like 4, 1, 5, 6, or whatever order it is. But basically 1, 5, 6, 4. If you listen, there's a video online of a band. Maybe you know this. I really forget. It's been a long time. But there's a song where they play all the famous songs written by this one same chord progression. Axis of Awesome. Just look for Axis of Awesome, 4 chords. You'll be amazed. And they are literally playing 1, 5, 6, 4. That's it. I did some inversions, but basically in root positions. 1, 5, 6 is a minor, and 4. 1, and 5 are major triads, but the minor is 6. The 6 is minor, and then 4 is major. And that just writes like 90% of the pop songs ever written. The only difference is timing, time signature, of course, melody, key. It's basically that. So you can make your millions by playing a 4 chord progression. And then the last one is, but again, this is not about memorization. Just get used to trying to find it in different keys. So if I do it in the key of, key of A flat, so 1, 5, 6, 4, I'm in the key of A flat. I mean, I can see it already, but I'm just explaining the process. I'm in the key of A flat. I can see it. I can see 1, 5. I can see the 6 and the 4. So I'm sort of orientated. So there we go. Just remember that the 6 is minor. So 1, 5, minor is 6, and then 4. So you just get used to being able to do that. If you can do that, fantastic. A lot of people can't. In any key, wonderful. Just because of major scale mastery, I'm really taking you places, really. And then the last one is the jazz one. So there's kind of 3 ways to say this. 2-5-1 is the infamous, it's called a turnaround or jazz chord progression. 2-5-1, 2 is minor, 5 is major, 1 is major. Millions of ways to play that. I have loads of videos on that. Often the 2-5-1 is preceded by a 6, which is also minor, but sometimes major, your choice. 6, 2, 5, 1, or major on the third. They kind of both sound nice. If I play with the minor, there's a song called Blue Moon, for example, which has a 6 on the minor. It's going to go 1, 6, 2, 5, 1, but the 6 is a minor. My laptop had a problem there, so I was going to play Blue Moon, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. The 6 is minor. And then when you do the turnaround when you play the 6 as a major third, let me do a song like At Last. Sounds a bit more sort of bluesy sounding. It's just different. It just sounds nicer when it's a major third. Anyway, and often going up a 4th. So after the 2-5-1 or the 6-2-5-1, you'd go up a 4th. So let's do a 6-2-5-1 in the key of, I don't know, C. I'll just do it in C, keep it simple. So 6, 2, 5, 1, up a 4 to F. Often that might go to a minor, and then go back to 1 again. So just get used to doing that. It's all written down, so don't worry. But the main thing is you want to drill all of these things that we've talked about in your mind. Even the technical exercise thing here. Even just try to visualize, not necessarily your fingers, but just try to visualize the pattern, like, you know, in your mind on your internal piano. Just see if you can visualize that pattern jumping out in both directions. The more you use your internal piano, the better you'll be at the piano, really. So I hope that document helped you. Sorry about the video cut there. And, you know, obviously, if you'd like to leave a comment below on your progress to inspire other people, that would be pretty good. So there we go. As always, good luck. Likes, comments, subscriptions always welcome. Have a look at my video management website and my water pianism syllabus. And of course, the links for this are below. And I'll see you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.